So about 2 million weddings per year in the US in 2025.
Yep.
66 billion people are spent in the wedding industry as a whole. We're talking about that's how much it generates. An average wedding costs $34,000, and an average groomsman is 4 to 5 people per wedding. And that's over 10 million people who receive gifts with an average spend of 43 to 63 on a groomsman gift. So if we're looking at the total addressable market, total US weddings at 2 million with 5 people in the wedding, so 10 million, average gift spend is $50. You're looking at 500 million for the TAM, for the total addressable market.
Yep.
All right, so you see how we literally just went from 66 billion to this is a $500 million market.
Yeah.
All right, and is that kind of how you did the math when you approached it? You were just kind of like, boom, how many people are there? How many are they willing to spend?
Exactly. For me, it was more so like I knew I need to basically increase that average order value. And so how can I do that? Get people that are going to buy multiple gifts, right? If they're buying 5, that's 5 times more than the person buying just 1. And so that was one thing. Then it's trying to figure out that market. And then one thing we probably all do, and I still do it today, is that you sort of let your emotions overrule logic there. So you see 2 million weddings, and that's actually not accurate. So it's 2 million marriages.
2 million weddings. Oh, wow.
So this is where you actually have to start really drilling into the numbers. 2 million marriages. That doesn't mean there's 2 million weddings. Although they say that, although that's the way that it's projected. So you have to sort of read between the lines whenever it comes to them. There's a really good I forget the name of it. It's back in World War II. They were studying planes that were coming in to try to figure out where they needed to basically bulk up the armor. And so wherever they got shot at the most, they just
put more
there.
Yeah.
And there was a mathematician that came in and said, "You're looking at the data wrong." And they're like, "What do you mean?" They were like, "If the plane made it back, that means that the area that it got shot at is not the place that it went down. It's the planes that didn't make it back. So it's where they didn't get shot at, or the planes that made it back didn't get shot. Literally the opposite." And so there's a lot of different scenarios of that. So like the weddings is an example. It's 2 million marriages, and a lot of people don't actually have a wedding. So you can start bringing the bar down even further.
Oh wow! So just because it looks good on paper doesn't mean it's actually the way it is. That's a really good analogy. It's like if you're looking at the planes that came back, those survived.
Yeah, we don't need to bulk up where they got shot. They got shot at, they were fine.
Interesting. Those are really interesting analogies. So that's the number there. So serviceable addressable market. Of that 500 million, how much can your specific product and channel realistically reach? Those are questions that you also got to ask yourself. If it's personalized custom apparel, 35% of the groomsmen gift market versus generic items like flasks and sunglasses, right? So if it's personalized, it's a smaller market of that bigger market. And then depending on your sales channel, if it's only online and Etsy, then you're targeting people that are more apt to buy online, which is a 25 to 34 demographic that makes up that core wedding. And then if it's a 35 to $55 per item, that's pretty much fitting the $43 average spend with the sweet spot for perceived value above cost. So if you have a solid price point in that market, your 10 million groomsmen at 35% personalized preference with a $50 ad spend, $50 average spend per groomsman, you're looking at 175 million. That's your serviceable market, right? So just because it's your total addressable, now you break it down to your serviceable market, and then your obtainable market is your year 1 targets. So like, how much can you actually capture in your first year of business, right? And it's got to be dependent on what your resources are. If you're new to the market, if you're unknown, you're the first time selling, then your obtainable market may be a lot smaller.